Dear colleagues, today I offer you an informative talk about the Italian violin school. In front of you is a jar with a special chemical substance with which the old Italian masters primed their famous violins. This substance I call liquid marble. In its physical structure, liquid marble resembles butter. However, unlike butter, it dissolves perfectly in water. If liquid marble is exposed to the sun and dried well, it will turn into ordinary marble, with all its physical and chemical properties. Classic Italian primer is known to cause a pearlescent glow under a lacquer coat. It is also known that mollusk shells are formed by the combination of protein and calcium. Similarly, the well-known eggshell is formed in the body of a hen. For priming their instruments, the old Italian craftsmen did not invent anything fancy. They simply copied Mother Nature. In other words, the Italian craftsman would take a weight of liquid marble, which is based on the chemical element calcium, and combine it with a weight of beaten and precipitated egg white. Then he brought the mixture, with the help of pure water, to the necessary consistency, and proceeded to deep priming of the wood of the created musical instruments. The priming was done in several steps, from 5 to 10 times, with good intermediate drying. I don't see the point of demonstrating in natural form the procedure of violin primer preparation with the help of egg white and liquid marble. In fact, everything took place in a very simple and straightforward manner. But I will reveal more to you. I will show you what violin makers did with their instruments after they had finished the priming procedure. For this purpose, I have prepared in advance a spruce board, which is divided by a line into two equal parts. You can clearly see that one half of the plank is just plain wood, and the other half is soaked in egg white and liquid marble. Now you will see what violin makers did next with already primed musical instruments. I have a pot prepared which contains a rich decoction of onion husks and do what our women do when they color Easter eggs. I take a soft squirrel brush, dip it into the hot onion decoction, and coat the clean and primed wood at the same time. Now I'll cover the board without hurry and we'll continue our conversation. And you will be able to observe how the contrast between the clean and primed wood will gradually increase. Clean wood after complete drying will be almost discolored and will acquire an unsightly dirty look, while the primed wood will be saturated before your eyes and will take on a transparent golden hue. This is how the old Italian craftsmen finished priming their famous musical instruments. But it was not only for violin primer that Italian masters used liquid marble. On the basis of liquid marble, these same masters made a colored pigment for a unique violin varnish. Now I am going to put some liquid marble into a porcelain mortar and pour it with an alcoholic extract of madder root. The alcohol extract is prepared according to the well-known recommendations of Maestro Sacconi. I will thoroughly mix the liquid marble with the extract of marina root, and you can see how our mixture acquires a beautiful ruby color. I usually use a dense bristle brush for this operation. Nevertheless, even in this case, the general result is clearly visible. Finally, I expose the colored liquid marble to the sun or to a special device for gas tiles, and dry the ready-to-use colored pigment well. I have specially prepared 3 new violins for the next video, which I polish with a marvelous ruby lacquer that is completely in keeping with the ancient Italian criteria. It is believed that the pinnacle of violin varnish of Guarneri and Stradivarius is exactly the colored ruby varnish, to which Maestro Sacconi referred more than once. I will coat my new violins with colored ruby lacquer, and you will see the true miracle called classic Cremona lacquer. By the way, we have the opportunity to pay attention to the experimental plaque and see how the color of the wood covered with onion decoction changes. The impression is that the pure wood is still in the same condition, although after drying it is bound to fade and have an unsightly appearance. Whereas primed wood, after drying, will acquire a golden transparent color and will work under the lacquer coating like gold foil, which reflects the light falling on it. Thus, we can conclude that the main secret weapon of Italian violin technology was liquid marble. On the basis of liquid marble, Italian masters made violin primer and colored pigment for their unique varnish. The colored pigment could be given different colors depending on the plant extract used. The Amati family, for example, colored liquid marble with a decoction of onion husks. Stradivarius regularly used an alcoholic extract of turmeric. He combined yellow and ruby pigment, resulting in an ornate orange-colored varnish. Of course, after all this, you have a natural question. How can a modern violin maker obtain liquid marble? In this connection, I can share a part of my personal experience. For this purpose, I have a special laboratory mill. Into this mill, I put pieces of chopped marble, the size of walnuts. I use statuary Carrara marble, with a high content of the chemical element calcium, up to 95%. This kind of marble makes for an exceptionally clear violin ground. I put in pieces of Carrara marble and pour in a specially prepared chemical solution, and then start the mill. The mill rotates round and round for a month. After a month, I managed to get such a half-liter jar of liquid marble. Now I will tell you how this technology works. The thing is that the chemical solution, which I pour into the barrel, gradually corrodes the marble, and a kind of patina is formed on it, which is liquid marble. As the barrel is constantly rotating, this patina is washed away and reforms on the clean surface of the marble. This process takes place almost indefinitely. If the same solution is simply poured over pieces of marble without the mill rotating, a patina will form on the marble, but the further process is canned. This is how the witty technology for making liquid marble is organized. Anyone who is familiar with my article, The Violin Maker's Monologue, knows that I categorically reject the possibility of any Italian violin maker making liquid marble himself. I state this as the only person in the world who has been able to obtain liquid marble and who is well aware of the complexity of the chemical solution that ensures a positive realization of the process. I also proceed from the obvious fact that there were hundreds of violin makers working in Italy at that time, and all of them, without a single exception, had access to liquid marble. But the abandonment of the use of liquid marble happened overnight. It seems that one day forever closed the store, which was vigorously selling the popular material. If the violin makers themselves knew how to extract liquid marble, this trade would never have been interrupted. Many masters were members of dynasties. Many had children and grandchildren. Hence, the secret of obtaining liquid marble would have been inherited. It follows inevitably that the secret of making liquid marble was concentrated in one hand, and that hand was that of the Catholic Church. My article details how the conflict between the Catholic clergy and the violin makers arose and developed, and why their fruitful collaboration came to an end. Many colleagues wonder on what basis I draw my conclusions. Look at the beautiful golden color the primed wood picks up. Most often they ask how I know and how I can confirm that it was the Catholic Church that held the key secret of the Italian violin school. I will now provide my arguments. The fact is that the long history of violin making holds no small number of different mysteries. One of these mysteries, which has never been solved, is the fact that there was only one single violin maker in the world, not of Italian nationality, who perfectly mastered the technology of working with liquid marble. Jakob Steiner was fully initiated into the secret kitchen of Italian violin making. There are many hypothetical speculations on this subject, but all of them are not very convincing. They do not give a direct answer as to why exactly Jakob Steiner received such a high honor. I will now tell everyone for the first time for what reason the Tyrolean violin maker was introduced to the Italian violin mysteries. We know that in the Catholic Church, the person of the Apostle Peter is treated with special reverence. It is not by chance that the Cathedra of the Catholic High Priest is located in St. Peter's Cathedral. By the way, it is the most majestic cathedral in the Christian world. A larger cathedral simply does not exist. People familiar with the text of the Holy Gospel are well aware that the Apostle Peter had the name Simon from birth. When Jesus called Simon to his ministry, he called him Peter, which means stone in Greek. Christ said, "You are Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church." Thus the words Peter and rock are in a sense synonymous, and for the Catholic Church synonymous in a superlative degree. If you consult an encyclopedia, you will learn that the surname Steiner comes from the Yiddish word Stein, which means stone. The Catholic Church had total control over society and undoubtedly singled out the violin maker who carries in his surname the mystical code of apostolic election. Christ himself uttered and blessed this mystical code. But there was a second, equally significant factor. The name of Steiner's violin maker was Jakob. The only direct relative the Savior had was the Apostle Jacob. They were half-brothers by their father Joseph. This combination in one person of names of Apostles Peter and Jacob put the violin master Steiner in a special position. The Catholic Church could not be indifferent to such a man. And the Church taught Jakob Steiner the secrets of Italian violin-making technology. Thus, I have given you another piece of knowledge. Now you can see why the Tyrolean violin maker Jakob Steiner had access to liquid marble. I do not exclude that the Masonic tradition of calling themselves Freemasons also has gospel roots. A Mason, then, is not the man who knows how to put up a brick wall, but the man who, like the Apostle Peter, is called to be a solid stone laid in the foundation of a chosen community of people. This can be limited for the time being. In conclusion, I would like to add, for consultations and questions about the purchase of liquid marble, you can contact me on my personal website. There you will find the necessary contact information. Good day. Stand by for the next video. I'm going to show you 3 new violins that are coated with a gorgeous ruby lacquer. It is for this lacquer that the process of preparing the color pigment was realized in your presence. All that remained was to dry the colored liquid marble in the sun, rub it in a mortar, and combine it with the colorless lacquer mixture. This is how the legendary Cremona lacquer was born. See you again.